22,600 unusual options on Disney stock. What do these options mean that were placed about an hour ago at 10:19 a.m.? Today is May 22, 11:27 a.m. So in this video, we are going to analyze these unusual options and then update our current Disney trade based on these unusual options. So without further ado, let's get right to it. As you can see, these unusual options were done together, two of them. It wasn't just the 22,600, there was also this 19,970. We know that because these were done at the same time at the 53-second mark here. And we also see the cost, the strikes were the same. And the price here that was paid for the Junes was being executed at the bid price here. So we believe this June 16s were being sold. Now, were they being sold to open or close? Well, if we look at the options chain on June 16, you'll see here that there was an open interest of 21,999, and today's volume was 20,000. So these 80 strike calls, we believe, are being sold to close. And what they're doing is that because they were originally in this position with a call, they're basically rolling their current delta of 93 to lower their delta to take profits to this other date on August 18. And so here it is. They're reducing their delta to the 82 now. You'll see here. And opening up this trade right here, you'll see here this volume is much greater than the open interest. Those 22,600 are sitting right here now for the volume. 80 strike calls right here. So they rolled it out to this option 88 days away and bought these to continue to stay bullish. So this is their current trade. And you'll see here, this is a bullish trade. Basically, because it's an 82 delta, you'll see here in the Greeks here, this is basically like a stock replacement strategy where instead of having to buy 82 shares of Disney, which cost more to get the 82 delta, they're buying these 80 strike calls instead. Because currently Disney at $90, if you or 91 now, it's at 91. If we look at the cost to put on a trade with just shares, you'll see that to get the 82 delta, they would need to buy 82 shares, which would be $7,462. But they can just pay $1,355 here to get the same 82 deltas. And so this is called a stock replacement strategy where they are bullish on the stock. Okay? And so this is they're using options to leverage their position, their bullish sentiment on Disney. And so the way we are trading this, because if you've been following our channel, we did do a Disney trade on the day that Disney dropped after earnings. This was on May 11. On this day, after earnings dropped, we did a trade and we made a video about that. So we'll put a link at the top here. If you haven't watched that, you can watch that to understand how and why we did it. If you have info cards turned on, you can click on that, and at the end of the video, we'll also put that link in and also in the description. So we did a trade on May 11, and it was a calendar spread. This was the trade here. However, actually now you can't really see it now because May 19 has this call has already expired, and that's why it's not being traded anymore. And so we were able to take this call expired worthless. So when we sold this call, we were able to collect the full 100% on the credit there because it expired worthless. It never crossed 95, so we were able to keep the entire credit. And so now what we're doing now, because this has expired and we got the credit from this, is we also now, instead of just having a October 2095 strike call on its own, you'll see here what we did now to update our trade is we then sold the 95 strike calls 25 days away now on June 16. And so so right now it's going for about $1, which is $100. So you can sell it now for $100 to collect another $100 per trade. And so if you look at our current trade now, and this is our 95 strike here, we are basically reducing our cost on the trade. Every time we sell the calls and roll it out, we're reducing our cost. And so this is our current trade now. And so once this expires in June, we can then sell another call, depending on where Disney is at that. We could, if Disney hasn't really moved very much, we could then sell the next, the July's over here and then we can then after that we can then sell the August and then September, so we can keep on selling to continue to reduce our overall cost. Eventually we would break even and not even have a loss on this trade because we kept rolling it out. So that's the benefit of just continually rolling it and collecting credit. And that is also what this large institution is doing. They're rolling their trades to further out in time to wait for Disney to come back up. And so that's what they're doing. And our strategy is more, if Disney doesn't go up and stays around this range, we will still be able to reduce our costs, eventually breaking even and not be at a loss by rolling it to every month. Since we do have 151 days until our long call expires, we can continue to roll it every month to reduce our cost basis. And so that is what we're doing for our calendar spread. And the reason why we want to stay on a calendar spread is if you look at Disney's IV percentile, the implied volatility, 2%, very low, right? So this is very low for Disney. And so we know that calendar spreads take advantage of that. You'll see here the Vega is very high, 15 on this trade, meaning if volatility increases, this trade will benefit. And since the volatility is at 2% percentile, that's very low, and we think there's a lot more potential for the volatility to increase for Disney than it is to decrease, since we're already at a very low point at 2%. So this is why we chose the calendar strategy. And so make sure to watch our video that we did on this day, May 11, to understand more on why we are going to continue to stay bullish, at the same time utilizing the calendar spread to take advantage of the volatility, very low volatility at this moment for Disney, and to reduce our cost basis by rolling our calls. Hopefully this was helpful. You learned something or you enjoyed the video. Please smash that like button and comment below on what you think about Disney. Subscribe if you haven't and hit the bell icon. You'll be notified whenever we see unusual option activity. Thank you and take care, everybody.